Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a piece of hardware that seems to be making some quiet waves in AV control.
The Aurora RXT-8D-B.
That's the one, the 8 desktop ReAX touch panel control system.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission today is to unpack not just what this thing is, but, why it might signal a bigger shift in the industry.
And the hook is right there in the marketing.
It is. They're calling it the, and I'm quoting here, world's first ReAX JavaScript-based touch panel control system.
That phrase alone is a real shot across the bow of the established players.
And where would you typically see one of these?
Well, it's designed for flat surfaces, so think conference rooms, university classrooms, maybe controlling digital signage. Places that need really reliable integrated control.
Okay, so let's unpack that foundation. We keep hearing this term ReAX. We know it's based on JavaScript, but what does that actually mean for the AV professionals out there?
Well, ReAX is Aurora's platform. It essentially leverages standard web development tools.
So just normal JavaScript.
Pretty much. Normal JavaScript. It lets you build both the control interface and the underlying logic. It's a fundamental move away from those closed proprietary systems.
But hold on, we've seen other Android-based panels before that just, run a basic web browser. Is this really that different, or is it just slick packaging?
It's all about the depth of the integration. The ReAX server runs natively on Android 10.0, and it's powered by a 6-core Cortex processor.
A 6-core in a desktop panel.
A 1.8 gigahertz 6-core with 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of flash storage. It's desktop-grade computing power.
And that's all designed to be decentralized, right? So the logic lives on the panel, not in some central rack.
Precisely. It can handle complex UI, local logic, all of it, right at the endpoint.
And then there's the cost. The sources really emphasize that the main tool, Core Studio, is available completely free of charge.
And that is the commercial key here. When you think about the 5-figure investment you might need for licenses and training in the old AV world, this just drops the barrier to entry through the floor.
Okay, so that 6-core gives it the brains. What about the physical side, the part you actually touch and see in the conference room?
Right. They call it an all-in-one solution, and it kind of is.
So what are we talking?
Physically, you get an 8-inch 1280 by 800 resolution touchscreen. Really good visibility too, a 170-degree viewing angle.
Yeah.
And it has that room status light bar.
Which is always handy. What about for conferencing?
For modern collaboration, it's got a 5-megapixel front camera, a digital microphone, and a little 1-watt speaker system built in.
And the sources also point to a pretty powerful graphics engine, H.264 streaming, 2D and 3D graphics.
Yeah, it can decode almost any 4K stream you throw at it.
Yeah.
MPEG, H.265, plus all the common audio formats. It could be a media source, not just a controller.
Which brings us to connectivity. How does it hook up?
It's flexible. You've got WiFi, NFC, an SD card slot, and 3 USB 2.0 ports.
And for the actual installation, the wiring?
Critically, it uses power over Ethernet PoE through the main LAN port.
Which is a huge deal for installers, just one cable for both data and power.
Makes everything cleaner and faster.
Let me just challenge that all-in-one claim for a second. It has an HDMI port. Is that for input, or can the onboard graphics actually use it to drive an external display?
That's a great question. It's an output. So yes, it absolutely can act as a complete local presentation source. You could run your digital signage content directly off the unit itself.
Wow. Okay, so it really is a hub.
And it's TAA compliant and made in the USA with a price point around $1,800, which clearly shows they're aiming for institutional and government buyers.
So let's tie this all together. What's the final takeaway? The Aurora RXT-8D-B seems like more than just hardware. It feels like a strategic pivot.
It is. It's moving control away from being dependent on proprietary hardware and toward accessible software-based solutions.
Using JavaScript, a language millions of developers already know.
Exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, they are effectively democratizing complex AV development. They're inviting this massive pool of software talent people who never cared about specialized AV programming into the control market.
Which leaves us with a provocative thought for you, the listener. Given that standard web programming is the foundation here, how might this lower the barrier to entry for developing these complex integrated control systems in our next generation of smart buildings? Could we see the power dynamic shift away from specialized integrators and more toward in-house IT departments?
Something to think about.
That's something for you to mull over. Join us for our next deep dive.
Well,